This is the Schools Broadcasting Service of the Communication Unit, Ministry of Education, Rudranath Kapildeo Learning Resource Center. We present a broadcast entitled Parang. The script is written and produced by Edward Boyce. Material for the script was supplied by Mr. John Cupid. Those taking part are Harold Cumberbatch, Edward Boyce, Stella Seal, and Barbara Harris.
Yes, it's Parang on the radio.
Maria, Maria, Maria.
Parang on the TV. Parang at parties.
Parang is heard all over the country of Trinidad and Tobago at this time of the year. In recent times, the parang has become very popular indeed. But what is parang? In today's broadcast, we will try to give you the meaning of parang. So let's join our friends.
Yes, I like that. Play it again.
You really like parang. Do you understand the words?
Look, I like parang, but that's all. I don't know anything about the words. I believe it's Spanish.
Come in. Oh, hello, Alfredo. You came just in time.
Just in time for what? To listen to some parang?
Look, Tom is playing this music all the time, and he doesn't know one thing about it. I myself can't say much, but you grew up in this parang, so perhaps you can help.
I know that parang, or paran, as some people call it, makes our Christmas different from Christmas in any other part of the world. But tell me, what really is parang? What does the word mean?
Some scholars claim that parang is derived from the Venezuelan Spanish word paranda, which means to go from house to house to fete. But there is much more to parang than fete. In the parang celebrations at Christmas in Trinidad and Tobago, there's a strong religious background.
A religious background? I never thought of parang as having much to do with religion. Could you explain?
Well, parang started in the early days in the meeting of the Amerindians and the Spaniards.
By Amerindians, you mean the Caribs and the Arawaks?
Yes. You see, the Spanish priests played a great part in the efforts to colonize Trinidad for the Spanish throne. The priests worked hard at converting the Amerindians to Christianity.
You know, I read that in the year 1687 to 1837, the Capuchin monks from Catalan and Aragon in Spain set up missions in different parts of the island to teach the natives Christianity. But where does the parang come in?
You see, the priests discovered that the natives loved music and were quick at learning it. So they composed songs on parts of the Bible. Yes, songs on the life of Christ. And these songs the priests taught the natives. The parang we hear is what has been handed down from one generation to the next, with some changes, of course.
Yes, when the Spaniards came to Trinidad, the Capuchin monks from Catalan and Aragon in Spain came to help the Spaniards colonize the island and teach Christianity to the natives. Now, these Spanish monks set up missions in some parts of the island. The monks discovered that the Amerindians loved music and learnt music very quickly, so they composed songs on different parts of the Bible and taught these songs to the Amerindians. From these songs came parang, as we know it today. But let's rejoin our friends for some more of the history of parang.
So we can say that the parang came to us from the Spaniards.
Correct. But there were other influences. The African influence, for instance. Christmas was the biggest celebration in which the African slaves were allowed to take part.
So that's how the African flavor was added. Were there any influences from Venezuela?
Oh, yes. There was some influence from Venezuela. The Venezuelan influence came when the slaves were set free and the laborers from Venezuela, the payol or peons as they were called, came to work on the estates, especially the cocoa estates.
So the payol or peons from Venezuela added their musical style over the centuries.
That's the idea. Even up to the present time, the parang of the southern villages of Trinidad has a more nasal kind of singing, due no doubt to the influence of Venezuelans from the mainland. In the early days, the Venezuelans usually landed in the south of Trinidad. You will find that in the northern and central parts of Trinidad, the parang is more rhythmic, like the calypso type of music.
Can we say then that the Trinidad parang is similar to the parang of Venezuela?
Not at all. Although there are some Venezuelan influences, the Trinidad parang is quite different from the Venezuelan parang.
But tell me, is the Spanish that's sung in Trinidad and Tobago the same as in Venezuela?
Not really. In addition to the difference in rhythm, the language of the parang of Trinidad and Tobago is not completely understood by the Venezuelans.
Yes, the parang of Trinidad and Tobago, which we hear at Christmas, came to us from the Spanish monks centuries ago. However, several influences have made the parang of Trinidad and Tobago what it is today. The Venezuelan pañol or peon came with their musical style. The African slaves added their rhythm. And so all these together form our parang Trinidad style. Now our group is discussing the types of songs in the true parang tradition. So let's join them.
We know that in the months of November, December, parang is in full swing. But when does the parang season start?
There's no definite date on which parang begins each year. For some, it's September, October, or even November. But by December, the real season is in.
I know that some people just live for the parang season to begin.
To the old-time paranderos, parang is a way of life. The paranderos are the group, the singers and the musicians. Yes, the paranderos travel for miles in all types of weather to give a friend a parang session.
So a parang is like a gift.
Yes. It's a gift for Christmas, giving in the spirit of giving. For the traditional paranderos, parang is the word of God, the feast of Christ, the stories of the birth of Christ. However, many young paranderos or singers do not stress the religious aspect as much as the older ones do.
On visiting a house, is there a set pattern to sing the songs or parang?
Oh yes, there's a set pattern for singing the songs. On arriving at a house, it is customary for some people to sing a serenal.
What's a serenal about?
The serenal introduces the band and gives greetings to the members of the house.
So after the serenal, the group enters the house. Then what follows?
Once inside the house, the singers sing the story of Christ and end with the despedida.
What's a despedida? How do you spell that?
Despedida is a farewell song. It is spelled D-E-S-P-U-E-D-I-R, despedida. The group thanks the host for his hospitality, which is the usual Christmas food: pastel, ham, pemi, sorrel, and other refreshments. And the host in return says thanks to the group for their gift of song.
Well, serenal is the song to begin the visit. The despedida is the song to bid farewell. How do you call the songs on the life of Christ?
These songs are usually called aguinaldo. Aguinaldo, aguinaldo. The aguinaldo may be divided into the Annunciación and the Nacimiento. The Annunciación are songs which deal mainly with the announcement to Mary that she was chosen to be the mother of Christ, and the Nacimiento tells about the birth of Christ. Listen to an aguinaldo, which is also called Annunciación. The singer sings about the angel Gabriel announcing to Mary that she was chosen to be the mother of God. Here is an example of the Nacimiento. In this song, you will hear about the birth of Christ. In this song about the birth of Christ, the singer sings that Mary is the mother of God, born without sin. The song tells how shepherds came. This is generally the story of the nativity of Christ.
I see what you mean about the strong religious base of the parang. Are there any songs without a religious base?
There are many songs without a religious base. There is the Manzanari, Rio Manzanari, about a river, and Savannah Blanca, about a savanna. However, the theme of these songs may be about romance, history, morals in life, or pikong. One thing, however, each song has a distinct beat or rhythm. There's also the warap and the galerong.
So as soon as a song starts, you can know whether it is a manzanari or a warap or a galeron for that matter.
That's the idea. Each song has a distinct beat or rhythm.
We have heard quite a lot of traditional parang. We heard that parang is a gift of the Word of God, a gift from the pandineros to a friend. We heard too that on visiting a house, a serenal is played. The serenal is a song to greet the household and introduce the parang group. Now the parang group enters the house where the algonados, those songs about the life of Christ, and other songs would be sung. We heard that the host provides lavish refreshments for the parang group. Then, at the end of the visit, the parang group sings a despedir or farewell song, thanking the host for his hospitality. The host in turn gives thanks in a song. But what of parang today? Let's rejoin our group who are discussing this.
Modern parang is different in many ways. In modern times, the fete and the competition seem to be more important than the religious background. As a matter of fact, some people claim that parang groups are so busy playing at parties for cash that there is little time for visiting house to house. The introduction of electrical instruments has also affected the traditional parang.
You mean that the cuatro, the guitar, and the mandolins have amplifiers, and this changes the tone of the band?
Not only the tone of the parang band is changed, but the singers, who should be the feature of the group, have lost their places. Anyway, in the competitions, the tradition of a main singer is maintained.
In recent times, parang has become quite popular. There are competitions at various points of the country, and no Christmas is complete without the parang group. Yes, Christmas would not be complete without parang.
That was a recorded broadcast of the school's broadcasting service of the Communication Unit, Ministry of Education, Rudanath Kapildeo Learning Resource Center. The broadcast was entitled Parang.